we're now joined by head coach Dana Duckworth. Coach, that was one of the best performances to open the best performance to open a season, home season in Alabama history. Kind of take us through the evening.
The key to the evening was we wanted to focus on what we can control. We wanted to improve from the week before. We wanted to add some more depth to our lineups, and we wanted them to fight for every 10th. So it was just successful on all fronts in what our goals were. And what's exciting is to know that there's so much more to improve on, and the ladies are still very focused and fired up and hungry to improve. So in general, I would say the home crowd was electric. It was awesome being back in a packed house, and it's undescribable, as the ladies have shared. It's just an adrenaline rush, and it makes a difference. From top to bottom in our performance, we did some huge vaults, and our goal is to find those landings and gain a little more composure on that event. It's to stay true to the bar lineup and continue to work the fine details of handstands and stuck landings. I want to see this team on beam do what they're capable of. I believe we have 6 up that can do 9-9 or better. And that is what my personal goal is to see them all perform that level on the same night and see truly how great we can be on that event. And then with floor exercise, continuing to build the depth, putting in more faces, getting more people ready, and being able to perform with confidence and passion and really great expression.
All right, we'll open it up with Katie.
Hey, Dana, you just talked about the beam lineup, and obviously when you're going on the road, that's ahead of time that's where it's gonna end out the meet. How do you kind of prepare them for that? Is it's kind of like a pressure-packed event, and then could be ending a meet in a potentially pressure-packed situation on that event?
We try to create pressure situations as much as possible inside the gym. So for example, we do what's called an intra-squad, which means we have 7 athletes warm up, and we treat it just like a gymnastics meet, and we blast the music, and then we have no music. We do things that allow the girls to hopefully get startled as much as possible, and then the scenario kind of creates itself each day. So when, for example, last week, our first athlete falls, and how are you going to respond? And I was very impressed with how the ladies did that. That actually hasn't happened in our role playing yet, but we have had an athlete in the top 7 make a mistake and have to bounce back. So we try to do those types of things. And then along with our assignments daily, really some of it's individualized based on what a student athlete needs. Some of our athletes need to have the whole gym stop, look and listen, and that creates a little more nerves and butterflies. But I will say it's almost impossible to create the exact environment, and that's why we do the best we can to make those experiences possible to be prepared when they present.
All right, Ashley, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Can you
Hi.
talk about what it's like to compete in a meet with 2 Olympians?
I think it's fantastic for college gymnastics that we have Olympians that are coming to college and getting an awesome education and taking their gifts and sharing them with the collegiate gymnastics fan base. I think it's awesome. At the end of the day, I think all of these young women have a great deal of talent. They all have to compete under the bright lights, and I believe it just enhances the quality of the sport.
Juliet, go ahead.
Hi, Dana. Can you talk about how you're I know you want to keep on adding people to the lineup. Can you talk about how you go about that and how you choose who's going? And is it kind of set in stone going into it, or is it more once you get there and see how everybody warms up, is that how you decide who else you're going to put in?
Each meet, we have a game plan. We walk into the meet with 8 to 9 ready on every event, and the top 7 warm up vault bars and beam, and then because floor you can warm up a few extra based on your timeline, we'll normally try to warm up 8, and then periodically we'll warm up 9. The goal is that we'll warm up well and we will stick to what the lineup is, but it's amazing how things pop up and you just have to be prepared. The first meet, Lexi on her very last beam turn ends up kind of doing something odd to her ankle, and we had to pull her on beam that week. So Shallon had to step in. And then we had a situation last week. Louisa, she had some leg problems. They were presenting on floor. It wasn't worth the risk. And boom, Cameron Machado steps in. And so the plan is you have an ideal lineup. Matter of fact, I'm sitting here with like all my lineups right here that we're going to practice today. We will go into the gym and do intra-squads, and then based on the consistency over time, the competitive experience, and the trust we have in that particular athlete is how we make that lineup choice. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mikey, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you kind of touched on this earlier, but I just want to ask you, what do you think that Sundy Lee brings to the sport of college gymnastics? Because she sort of became a superstar overnight with her performance at the Olympics. She was on, Dancing with the Stars. And she's the kind of superstar that a sport like college gymnastics doesn't really have. So what do you think she brings to the sport?
Well, as far as her athleticism, that speaks for itself. She is the Olympic champion, and I think that that's amazing. I love the fact that she values the quality of a college education and was able to be put in a position, especially with name, image, and likeness, to be able to really benefit from both sides of the equation. What's beautiful is I think it just brings a fan engagement and a fan excitement. And if that helps us fill our stands, I just think it makes college gymnastics that much more relevant. When you look at I think about the 1996 Olympic team, and all of those young women own gyms today, but none of them went to college. Then you fast forward to, the 2016 team, and none of those ladies went to college, but they all went to major careers in whatever they, are doing from a, speaking and women empowerment and all kinds of opportunities that they've had. And then you see the 2020 Olympic team, which was only 4 young women, and almost all of them went to college, minus Simone Biles. So I feel like it shows growth, it shows change, and it shows opportunity. And at the end of the day, let's get on live television week after week to continue to make this beautiful, powerful sport more relevant. And if the Olympians can help us do that, then I say roll tide to that.
Ashley, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Your team has made some significant improvements week to week early in the season. What have you been seeing in practice that's kind of led to that?
The reality is, from the very beginning, this team got on board with the core values and the building blocks of what's going to make them successful, not only in the gym, but in the classroom and in life after. I have seen a great deal of discipline of these young women. There's an attention to detail, and there's a strong work ethic that you just see every day. And what's beautiful is they haven't slowed down. And then you see a level of mental toughness. We're trying to build resilience in these young women. So when the first thing happens that doesn't go their way, it doesn't make them melt. It makes them get more powerful, more focused, and more hungry. Again, I go back to the word hungry because I think it's important that you want to continue to improve every aspect of your life, right? And I think they've been very, very coachable, which is all part of mental toughness, in my opinion. And then, of course, the piece of unity, I think, in a sense, if I go across the 16 athletes we have, we talk a lot about personal responsibility, owning your role, doing your part. So you heard Jordan speak. When Jordan was down and couldn't do gymnastics when she first got here the way she wanted to do it, she didn't let up in the weight room. She didn't let up with nutrition. She didn't let up with proper sleep. And those things, taking the personal responsibility piece, are huge. And then the accountability to one another. And that's where the cohesion is created. When everybody takes ownership, then the cohesion leads to incredible unity. So those three aspects, I believe, is what is making this team continue to thrive and get better week after week.
All right. Anything else for Coach? Thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you for
Coach.
the coverage, you guys. You're doing awesome. Roll Tide. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.